Scientists in Newcastle have made a breakthrough in their study of Joubert syndrome, a rare disease that affects the brain, the eye and the kidneys. Now, thanks to a 4-year study involving hundreds of families around the world, doctors will be able to determine the rate of kidney disease in children with the life-limiting condition and treat them more effectively. Sharina Saga reports.
This is your favourite one, this one, Meg and Mog. Yeah, I thought so, that one. You like that one, don't you?
The after-school routine 14-year-old Neve insists on.
And she flew up the chimney with Mog.
She was diagnosed with Joubert syndrome 6 weeks after she was born, and she's been living with serious health issues ever since.
She's severely sight impaired. She can't walk, she can't talk. She needs everything doing for her on a daily basis. It's a struggle.
The full extent of Neve's medical problems are unknown, and her kidneys could fail at any moment. But now, at the Centre for Life in Newcastle, a team led by a world expert on this subject have found what's called a modifier gene, which determines the severity of kidney problems a patient is likely to have, and which means therapies can be developed to reduce the effects.
Receiving a genetic diagnosis for a family is important, but it often leads to many more questions. Will my child get kidney problems? Will my child go blind? And now we can help them decide whether the child will be affected and ultimately provide a treatment that will slow kidney failure down.
I want to eat fish fingers.
This advance in medical research can't come soon enough for the Rees family.
Okay. You always know that ultimately one day probably our kidneys may fail, and if that does happen, this research means that we can do something that's less invasive, and it will prolong our life. It will mean that I've got sorry. It will mean that I'll have Neve for longer than what we think, and longer than what we can hope for, which is a good thing. Right, are you ready?
Sharina Saga, BBC Look North, South Shields.